is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now your hosts, Barry Church, Danny McCray, and Newy Scruggs.
And here we go.
Yes.
Show number one, Danny McCray, Barry Church. These guys.
Yes, indeedy.
Getting it on right here from the start. Okay. Let's make sure we give out the proper introductions here. And the resume. Basically, reintroduce yourselves. Barry Church, let me start with you.
Yes, sir.
And my first memory of Barry Church is the undrafted free agent from Toledo, because we in the media, we all kind of sit around here, we talk about a guy, who do you think can make this team? You were my guy.
I'm glad I could be that guy. I mean, that was a long time ago, man. 2010.
9 years.
9 years ago, a long time ago. But yeah, I came the long route, straight out of Toledo. Undrafted, like you said, safety. Made it the hard route, special teams route. But I was able to make it. 9 years in this league. 7 here, 2 with Jacksonville, and I have great memories, man, with great guys like the guy next to me, D-Mac over here. So just looking forward to a good season. I mean, shoot, the Players Lounge. Let's get this thing rolling, huh?
So you leave here, and okay, I got my mic tree.
There we go.
You leave here and you go to Jacksonville for a nice big payday, but you decide you want to retire.
Yeah.
What went into that?
Well, a lot of factors, man. It was, my body started hurting a lot. I mean, I was back in when the safeties was kind of like an extra linebacker in the system, so my body was starting to hurt on me a little bit. I had calls from teams. I didn't really want to kind of work out, and I kind of just got in that retirement mode. Like, when I get to the house, it was kind of just me and my family there, and it was just that started to just kind of I started to like it. It started to grow on me. I mean, the aches and pains kind of went away, but when you're with your family day in and day out, it's like, nothing's better than that. Why go back to the, everyday grind of football practice and stuff like that. So that kind of really helped me decide that, let's try a different route. Let's go do a different chapter. This is chapter 3. So let's see where it goes. But, I think I made a great decision, and now I'm here doing what I love once again. So let's get it cracking.
No, you know what really happened, all right? Listen, he was in Jacksonville, and then he went home. He was in Dallas. Hey, I called him. Hey, Church, man, I'm back. I'm hanging out, whatever. He came up here. He saw the facility and everything. He was like, yeah, you know what? I played enough golf. I played enough video games. Let me go hang out with my boy, man. Maybe we can get something like the Players Lounge started.
And the first game for Jacksonville is against Patrick Mahomes.
I loved every piece of that. I loved every piece of that. I ain't going to lie. Pat Holmes, shout out to that man. He did a hell of a job. I love every piece of it.
All right, so Barry Church, right here in the Players Lounge, number 42. Let's go over to number 40, Danny McCray, former Dallas Cowboy. You came in with this man in 2010, undrafted free agent. I love the fact, the way you talk about how you guys made this team here.
Right, yeah. So we both came in as undrafted free agents, so we took the long route, and consequently, we ended up battling for the same position.
Yeah.
But then we had a guy that they drafted in the 4th round that ended up getting hurt. So it was mine and his show to kind of run. So we were only 2 safeties out there for the entire rookie preseason, rookie minicamp, and all that stuff. So we got a chance to show everything that we could do. And we fortunately had another guy get injured, so that cleared 2 spots on the roster for us.
Quasi Owusu-Ansah.
Right.
Quasi was the guy they took. So take me to training camp. You guys are both competing for a spot here. Did you allow yourselves to be friends, or were you competitors? How did you guys work?
I mean, I never looked at it as like, I kind of always looked at it as my boy. Right. Like it was never like, all right, I gotta one-up him in every single situation. It's either him or me. Live or die. But nah, it was kind of like he was always just my boy, and we hung out. we kind of helped each other.
And it fit for us because, of course, on the field you need 2 safeties. Mm-hmm. So we were always both getting reps at the same time. Yeah. So it wasn't like, man, Church getting more reps than me. I think I need to do X, Y, Z. It was he was at free, I was at strong, he was at free, and we were both being able to get the same opportunities.
All right, so that was 2010, eons ago, and now here you guys are in the Players Lounge, which we will do every Tuesday at this time, 3 p.m. Central Time.
Yes, sir.
On DallasCowboys.com. So my story is I have covered the Cowboys since Jimmy Johnson's last year. So I got to cover a Super Bowl team.
There we go.
So, yeah, I got to cover Jimmy's last team. Got to cover Barry Switzer's first team here. Got to cover Dave Campo, Bill Parcells, Uncle Wade. I always call Uncle Wade Phillips. Uncle Wade. He's like a good uncle, man. Wade, I tell you, man. You know what the best moments I ever had with Wade was at Super Bowl 50. We got to interview him after they won.
Oh, when he was over with Denver?
Yeah, when he was with Denver. And DeMarcus. Yeah. And DeMarcus Ware as well. To interview those two guys there. Just knowing that they wanted to win a ring here and to see those guys get the ring, to have that kind of moment and to be on the field with them, that was pretty cool. So I got to cover Jason's team. So I've covered a lot of Cowboys football, seen a lot of guys come and go through the years.
Yes, sir.
So I was one of those kids who grew up a Cowboy fan. Right. I used to have the Cowboy lunchbox, the Cowboy knapsack, the Cowboy raincoat.
You from down here?
No, my dad was in the military. And
I got you.
So we lived in Fort Hood. So it was in 1977 we moved down there. And that's when I learned about football and became, this big Cowboy fan. And I tell people, you think about just what is it you want to do in life. Obviously you want to be a pro athlete, then you get realistic. You're realistic. You're like, okay, right. if I can't play, I want to talk about it. So for me, that has been one of the cool things is to go and cover something that as a kid you got to watch and then to be around guys that you cover. Like Drew Pearson did TV with me for 13 years. To do a show with the guy you grew up watching and then you become friends with him. It's been fun. It's been fun.
Awesome feeling. Gotta be.
Yes. Game 1 already in the books. The Cowboys winners as they beat the New York Giants 17-3. On Tuesday morning, I look on my Twitter and I see Tank Lawrence has tweeted, and apparently people got on Tank because after the game, he and the Hot Boys are leaving. Yeah. Some parent pushes their child who's in a Saquon Barkley jersey and a New York Giants hat. They push the kid out towards Tank, and the kid has something to autograph. And Tank basically said, "No, you got the wrong gear on." And people started getting on Tank. Some people supported Tank, but then some people felt like, "Oh my gosh, it's a kid. You can't do that." You guys are players. You know what it's like to deal with the autograph hound. So tell me your opinion on it.
In my opinion, I don't think he was wrong at all. I mean, the kid came up there with the wrong jersey on, talking about signing this for me.
I'm a supporter.
I'm a supporter of that. We've both gone through the gauntlet, we call it, when you go up to the stadium, you got to walk through all the fans before the game and after the game. And, coming from a player's perspective, you've signed over, 25, 50 autographs heading into the game, and on the way out, you already signed about 25 more. So, when you're right next to your car, and you can see in the video, he's almost pulling up next to it. He's about to hop in the car to go hang out, do whatever. And the kid comes up to him out of nowhere. He's, hey, man, look, first thing he sees is that Barkley jersey. My man ran for what? Almost 100 yards on him. He ran for 100 yards.
He ran for 100.
He's not trying to sign that. Else. Get the right kid. Get the right jersey, kid. I'm with him.
I support him. I've been through something similar. Listen, I have dreads. I have a beard. So as I'm walking in and out of the stadium, when I first got here, I wasn't Jalen. I was Mike Jenkins.
I forgot about James.
You're not gonna sign this? No, that's not my name. I'm not signing that. And then I became Lucky Whitehead. I'm like, no, I'm not signing that. I'm not signing that. I've been every guy with dreads on the Cowboys since 2010. I've been called that name, and I've refused to sign the autograph for the person who said the name wrong. So go Tank.
You got to put respect on the name.
Put some respect on my name.
Short question I got, because I never knew who was all a part of this. Who are the Hot? Is it the whole defense is the Hot Boys? Is it just the D-line?
Selected members of the defense.
There's a
committee. There's a committee. They vote.
So they vote actually who's in the Hot?
It has to be unanimous, apparently, yes.
Is it week by week?
That's a very good question, and I would suggest that you all bring DeMarcus in here for
see what's going on.
Yes, that would be.
It's like,
I'm gonna let you guys work on that. You guys go ahead and get Tank in here to since he is the chairman emeritus of the Hot Boys of what it takes to get in, how you get in. They explained a little bit to Brad. To Brad Sham 2 Mondays ago, a little bit about that. So let me go back to this Tank thing. Because here is my thought. Just being around Tank. What he was saying to the kid was almost, you came here to root against me. Because when you've got that gear, you weren't there to see him throw a dub on.
You wanted to see Barkley. spin, touchdowns, jump over people. That's what the kid wanted to see.
I'm with Tank. Listen, go to the other side of the stadium where the Giants come out at and ask Saquon for an autograph.
This is true. The kid was probably from Dallas. Like you said, mom's probably just say, hey, let's go to a Cowboys game. Let me throw this Barkley on. I just don't understand that whole situation.
Okay, man. The kid has the right to be a fan of whoever he wants to be a fan of. But when it comes down to it, he needs to remember that he has the wrong jersey color and number on.
Would Danny McCray have done that?
I did.
Right past. I'm talking about right there with the kid right there. Newy, would you? Would you have signed it?
I don't know if I would have said what he said, but because it would have been
just breezed by.
You'd have done the Bill Belichick.
That's not my name.
You would have done the Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick. There's a great GIF on social media where Bill Belichick is walking out of Ford Field in Detroit, and you see these kids with their hands out, waiting to getting a slap of five. But Bill walks straight past them. He kind of looks to the side, just keeps on going, like nope,
like they didn't exist.
And it is funny. Okay, that's what everybody thinks. It's funny.
Is true.
So what I put out there on my social media is, why is it funny for Belichick, but Tank, you're ignoring the kids and you're a bad guy? I mean,
this is true.
These guys, and I say these guys, talking about not just in the NFL guy, professional. These guys have pride too, and when they're playing for teams, they want you to enjoy them and enjoy what they're doing. And when you show up with the opposing folks stuff on, you're insulting them.
Exactly.
It's an insult to them. I mean, if you own a restaurant, somebody comes up in your restaurant with other folks' food or something, you're going to be insulted.
You at Chick-fil-A, and somebody come in with a Popeyes biscuit and sit down and eat and grub.
They're not letting you in.
They're not letting you.
You can't even go in McDonald's with Burger King.
You can't even use the restroom. I mean,
you can't do it.
You can't do it, man. Not
hey,
at all.
if you're watching this, put the right jersey on, man. We don't want to have this issue again. I'm on Tank's side, and I'm staying.
Put some respect on their name.
All right, Week 1 is in the books, and the Browns, who so many people thought were going to the Super Bowl, got that humble pie.
They sure did.
As Tennessee punched them right in the mouth. One of the interesting stories out of this, and let's discuss it in the Players Lounge, is the $350,000 watch new wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. wore. And says he will wear again.
I mean, my man had someone's house on his wrist.
Yeah, it's not a small house.
That's a nice size. Depending on what state, where area, and that's a nice size house on the wrist though during a football game.
It's swag. I mean, he went to LSU. What do you expect?
So okay, yeah.
Anyway,
so as DBs, if you're on the Jets this week and he runs past you. You trying to key to lead that watch? You trying to snatch it, hit it?
Pile up. Whoever's on that pile, hey, go for that watch.
There's so many cameras out there, man. Hey, where you watch, man? Where you watch? I'm not gonna do what Akeem Talib did to Michael Crabtree. I
Twice.
The second time was
I think it was deeper than definitely deeper than football.
They know each other from the streets or something.
They're both from here.
That is true.
They're both from here.
Something went on. They didn't ran into each other at the club or something, and they had some words because it'll just you don't do that twice to the same guy. In the game.
In game. You facing suspensions.
In the game.
So Odell wearing that watch.
Yeah.
That doesn't send a signal of disrespect to you at all as an opposing player. That doesn't speak too much of, hey, this is about me and I'm not focused on football. I'm trying to get myself an endorsement or what. I mean, what does that say to you guys as players?
I'm not going to lie. As a player, I mean, I'm just like, man, that boy got a $350K watch on. That's, whatever. Like, as a, everybody out there is probably just thinking the same thing. I'm not going to lie. They probably just like, oh, man, got a watch on. That's dope. And then just, keep it moving from there.
I give it to you from the perspective of somebody who doesn't have enough money to buy a $350,000 watch. I thought it was crazy. But if I had, 70, 80 million,
you would do something like that?
I don't know, man.
You saw the man.
I might pull the swag out.
What's the new Rolls Royce truck? What's that thing called?
Too expensive.
He got one of them with Beckham coming out of the roof with the little hood of his car with the catch. You know, instead of the regular Rolls Royce thing. So the man got.
I'm not gonna hate on him, man.
He got swag.
If you can do it.
Swag.
So you're cool with it? Okay,
I'm cool with it.
I'm cool with it. If he follow the rules, man, it's plastic like he said it is. He's not going to hurt nobody.
Shannon Sharp thought it was awful. He thought it sent a really bad message. Shannon Sharp, 3-time Super Bowl winner, Hall of Fame tight end for Baltimore and Denver. He said his mind is not in the right place if you're going out there to do that. And oh, by the way, your team got beat at home and embarrassed.
If they win, do we have the same conversation? Like, do we have this same issue with it? If
they lost, if he goes out for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns and they win by 20, it looks like a good idea.
Oh, he's smart. He's doing the endorsement pool. He's, he
looking at the wide.
You know what? Yeah, you're right, because that's what's the line in Talladega Nights? Winners get to do what they want.
This is true.
And he's not winning. You're not. I mean, they were dismantled by Tennessee in their own house,
but not because he had to watch them.
You know what? It doesn't matter.
I mean,
was going to Cabo the reason why the Cowboys didn't win that playoff game when Tony Romo and Jason Witten and Bobby Carpenter were all down there?
Nah, I don't think that was the reason.
But when you lose, you're now giving people ammunition to ask and wonder, okay, where are you supposed to be? I mean, overall as a team, you had to wonder where Cleveland was on that first game. Their first game out the gate, and a whole lot of folks, a whole lot of talking.
They look confused out there.
You know what? That's why I love that this show is called The Players Lounge. Because if we sitting back on the couch in there where they got the TVs and there's all the players in here, I'm tapping Odell like, man, that watch clean.
Yeah. Hey,
that's
whatever.
A clean watch.
Bump what they talking about. That thing clean.
They did their thing.
If you get a deal, break your boy off.
Can I get one?
Can I get one too? Hey.
So it's just different. That's from the perspective of how everybody's looking at him as what the type of player he is and all this stuff. And then when you sit back as a friend, as a teammate or whatever, his teammates probably had no issue with him running Richard Millie out there.
This is the Players Lounge. He is Danny McCray. He is Barry Church, former Cowboys safeties. I'm Newy Scruggs. And we're going to do this every Tuesday, 3 o'clock Central Time, right here on DallasCowboys.com. And they're going to give you the perspective of what guys who played this game and wore the star, what they feel and how they've gone through. So we are going to be laid back in this show. We're not going to hit you hard with a bunch of X's and O's. We've got some other great talk shows right here on DallasCowboys.com that are going to go heavy into there. So we'll be a little bit light on things like we were with Tank Lawrence and the Kid and Odell Beckham Jr. with the watch. But let me now transition into number 4. Dak Prescott.
Okay.
So much has been made on whether or not he's an elite quarterback. So many people talking about his contract. Today, Jerry Jones on 105.3 The Fan, his radio show, that he says a contract for Dak Prescott is imminent. We know this. Game 1, he was outstanding.
Yes,
Perfect passer rating. 4 touchdowns, 405 yards. This new Kellen Moore offense, so far, so good. As DBs, you tell me what you were seeing from number 4 in that first game that the Cowboys won 35-17 over New York.
I'll let D-Mac go ahead.
I saw Kellen Moore scheming that defense up like crazy, right? It was guys running open. It was guys like Amari Cooper. They were making sure they maximized his skill set, right? He was running stop routes, getting the ball in his hand quick, trying to get him some yards after catch, and they were doing great things. Then you get to Dak Prescott, ball is right on the money, doing exactly what he's supposed to do. They ask him to do this. They ask him to be a top-notch quarterback, throw the ball where it's supposed to be, let his guys catch it in a position where they can do some magic after the catch, and he was able to do that. That's top-notch.
I look at it more of how bad New York was as a team. I mean, I could appreciate the good play from Dak and great play calling, what it is, but that was a bad New York team. Are we really going to sit here and say that the play calling was that great? Like he would do the same thing against Carolina or whoever else, the Bears, whoever was a top-notch defense. But I'm just saying that secondary for New York was just downright terrible to me. They had Antoine Bethea, he's old enough to be my grandfather, out there playing safety.
I was going to say, did they call the Giants call you?
No, I ain't get a call. They called your boy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, I just think it was more about how bad New York was and how great the players and the coaching staff was. But we'll get a better look at that, I think, in this Washington game. They'll have more stiff competition from the Washington defense. But but from what I saw, I mean, you can't sit there and tell me that not tell me, but you can't sit there and say. They draw up who they want to play against. New York was there to come into Dallas, and that's who they had to play against, and they showed
in front of you. Beat who in front of you. Exactly. If you go out there against a bad defense and play like trash, now he's in trouble.
That is true.
He went out there and did exactly what he was supposed to do. Put the ball where it's supposed to be, give him a chance to score. And they did it.
They did it. That's true.
ESPN reported over the weekend that Dak has $50 million in endorsements on the field.
I saw that myself.
And I had said beforehand, earlier in the week, before I knew about the report, it's like, if I'm Dak, I don't want to go out on this football field, start game one without a contract that's I'm pretty sure going to get me $100 million in guarantees, something close to it. But if I'm making $50 million off the field, like, okay, that changes things a little bit here. How do you think Dak has played this so far?
I think he's played it almost perfectly. I mean, he hasn't been a disruption to anybody. You know, he was at camp. He did the whole thing with, his camp is going on. He's talked to reporters. He hasn't been hushed about negotiations or anything like that. So I think he's playing it pretty perfect. I mean, he's going out and performed in game one. So, I mean, I think he's playing it great.
D-Mac, what you got?
I think he's playing it great to the point of the quieter he is and the more that he shows he's just this ultimate team player, I think the price continues to go up just based on that. When you make it easy for GMs and coaches and things like that, when you go through a process this tough and to the point to where nobody has heard anything from Dak to where it's something bad. It's all positive. I'm ready for the game. I think that
he deflects it.
Better.
You bring up money, he 100% deflects it, and he puts it on his agent. You are in the Players Lounge on DallasCowboys.com. I'm Newy Scruggs. He's Barry Church, and Danny McCray joins us. All right. Along the way, we're going to have some more fun here. We're going to come up with our word of the day. We're also going to talk about Washington, and we'll talk about the most interesting teammate you have ever had right here on the Players Lounge.
While a player could look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
Do you want the most interesting, up-to-the-minute Dallas Cowboys news straight from the Star in Frisco? How about exclusive and on command? That's right, news and nuggets you can't find anywhere else. With our exclusive Cowboys content on Alexa, you can have all the answers, secrets, stories, and more. What's Stephen Jones thinking during a game? What's Joe Looney's favorite pregame meal? We take your questions to Cowboys players and coaches, and you can hear the answers directly back to you. Just say, Alexa, open Dallas Cowboys.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
The excitement of Dallas Cowboys football is back at AT&T Stadium.
The place is going crazy in Arlington, Texas.
Don't miss your chance to see the Cowboys live when they host their NFC East rivals, the Eagles, Giants, and Redskins, plus the Green Bay Packers and more.
Elliott works his way through and walks the dog.
Single game tickets are on sale now. Get them before they're gone.
First and goal, quarterback sneak. Prescott pushes up the middle. Touchdown.
Visit DallasCowboys.com to get your tickets today.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Don't miss your chance to see the Dallas Cowboys live at AT&T Stadium Sunday, September 23rd, as they take on the Miami Dolphins. Get your tickets now at DallasCowboys.com. And we'll see if there are any players left from the Miami Dolphins. The report after they got dismantled against Baltimore was that they had players calling their agents saying, "Yeah, get me out of here."
I mean, that's part of the worst feeling. When you go each and every week and you know you got a slim chance to win. I mean, that's one of the worst feelings.
You starting off in week 1 like that? I've taken some bad losses. I don't think I've ever called my agent like, "Hey man, we are horrible. Get me out of here."
Exactly. At the end of the day, you're getting paid.
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't never that bad, but I mean.
Do you believe all these dudes called their agent and was like, "Hey man, get me out of here"?
Nah, I think that's. I mean, I think that's blasphemy. They ain't do that.
So when Barry, let's piggyback what you said. By the way, you're listening to the Players Lounge and you're watching right here on DallasCowboys.com. Barry Church, Danny McCray, 2 former Dallas Cowboys safeties. I'm Newy Scruggs. So when you see a report like that, because Pro Football Talk had it, Miami Herald had originally put it out there. What do players say after a game where you got embarrassed?
Yeah.
You was at home. They're already traded away good players. You hear the reports that they're trying to tank and get ready to draft Tua Tagovailoa of Alabama. What does take place in the locker room?
I mean, from my perspective, it kind of made you mad because, I mean, you got players that'll say, I don't listen to the media. That goes in one ear out the other. I think that's, a load of crap because, I think, and each and every player, I think, looks to the media and they listen to see what they got to say. I mean, if it's good or bad or indifferent, they go to the media to hear what they got to say. And, I mean, everybody in that locker room right now is saying, man, maybe that ain't a bad idea to get traded about this. But I don't think that's the case. I think, the players are going to keep continuing to fight. Like I said, it's only week 1, but hearing stuff like that would make me upset.
Listen, if you are one of the players who went out there and participated in that thrashing, and then you went in the locker room before you saw the film and took accountability for you giving up touchdowns or you missing tackles and said you wanted to get traded, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
But does it get to the point, what if you play good? I mean, I don't know. What if they got thrashed, but say a receiver went out there and had 7 catches for 100 yards in a tub?
The guy who should be mad is if I'm a free agent and Miami sold me on this year is going to be the year and we doing everything we can. It's not a rebuild. And then we go out there and that happens in game 1. Yeah, I'm upset.
You upset. For
I'm
sure.
mad.
For sure.
But if I've been there, and then I went out there and I gave up a 70-yarder, I'm not going to call my agent and talk about I'm ready to get out of here.
Nah, you thinking that? we can. It's only week 1, fellas. It's only week 1.
Yeah, man, we just got to go back to the drawing board.
Go back to the drawing. If you want to do is I got bombed on. We just got to get back to the drawing board.
To the film session on Monday when you and coach have his top 10 plays, or his worst plays of the game.
They used to put Garrett Vision on there.
Garrett Vision on there. And
you don't ever want to be on Garrett Vision.
And it comes on, you're like, oh man, that's my play.
Okay, what's Garrett Vision?
Garrett Vision was, after the game, as a team, we would all sit in the big theater, the little team room, and we would break down the game as a team, as a group, before we went to our individual defense and offensive positions. And there would be about 8 to 10 plays on there where Garrett would break it down. It'd either be good or bad, but either way, if it's bad, you're getting chewed out in front of everybody, and it's really embarrassing. But if you want that good reel, I mean, nothing could go wrong that day.
This is perfect because, Danny, when I hear and see the Jason Garrett press conferences, he never says anything bad about a player. He deflects. If he's not saying anything good, he'll just straight up deflect. So when Garrett Vision happens,
okay, all right, let's. He doesn't just harp on something to where he's beating you down, right?
Okay.
The fast forward and the rewind is kind of the voice, right?
Oh, yeah.
If he rewinds this 4 times and he just keeps saying, "God, this is not us. We don't like this. This is not how we play." Rewind. This is not how we play. Rewind. This is not how we play. And it's that same play.
It's like a disappointed father or something.
That's him telling you, this is trash.
What are you doing out there?
Yeah, so he's not cursing at you or not doing nothing like that. He's very subtle with it, but everybody in the meeting room knows.
And then if that play made it to Garrett Vision, it's going to make it to the defensive coordinator, the defensive room where they break it down.
Because they probably got chewed out for not coaching you well enough for you to make the play.
So when it happens, what are other players around you? Are they trying to hold it in, laughing, and you just kind of hoping you're not next?
It depends.
Okay.
If somebody got shook real bad, or if somebody got there's
the oohs and ahs.
If somebody got their ankles broke, you're gonna hear somebody in the background if DJ getting scratched on, man.
It depends on how bad you won or lost. So I sat next to him, and I made my fair share of bad plays. All right, and he just tried to be a good friend, but I could tell he's like, yep.
Damn,
it ain't that bad. It ain't that bad.
The best saying was, it's never as bad as you think it is, and it's never as good as you think it is. And film, it was always something gonna happen. It was hilarious, I thought, though.
You had a good time on Monday, went out Sunday after the win, and then when you walk in there on Monday, your play might be on the.
I'm gonna start sweating like how I'm sweating.
So Garrett Vision, okay. So they're see, this is the great thing about what we want out of the Players Lounge. For people out there who don't know what Garrett Vision is, for you to be able to give them that taste and take them inside what happens here with the Dallas Cowboys. All right, it's Tuesday, Players' Day off. Washington, road game, first road game of the year. Washington had Philly down in Philly, 17-0. Philly fans were booing their own team. Eagles come back. Carson Wentz with a good second half. They win 32-27. Case Keenum, 380 yards in the air for Washington and 3 touchdowns. Darius Geis, their excellent running back, has a knee injury, most likely not going to play. Adrian Peterson, who was benched, is going to play. How do the Cowboys go up here and approach this game? You two know what it's like to play up there at FedEx Field.
I mean, it's when you're going against a division opponent. I mean, it's always you can never know who's going to win or who's going to come out on top. I mean, it's always going to be a tough game. Even though they should be bad, when you go against a division opponent, I mean, they always find some way to make a big play on you. So you just got to be resilient going into these games. And I think it's going to be a tougher one than people give the team the credit for. I think their offense is a little bit better than what people seem, and I'm excited to see what they got.
Yeah, and no matter what the score is at the end of it, it's going to be physical, right? It was a physical game. If it's 35-17, if it's 40-20, it was physical. And I think those division games are like that because they're so familiar with each other. Like, I know this guy. We play against him twice a year. If you've been here as long as Whitney, you probably played against these guys 15, 20 times, right? So it's like, I know them. I know what he's running. I got certain type of subtle hints that I can see, and that's all you need for a big hit or a big catch, right? To be familiar with the team enough to know like what extra you need to do to make a certain play.
It's one game, but Cowboy fans are happy. Okay?
Yeah.
Cowboy media singing the praises here. So then that means your friends and your family are singing the praises here. Parcells used to say, "Don't eat the cheese." As a player, how do you go into this football game knowing Washington's 0-1, it's their home opener. Not only do you not want to lose, you don't want to be 0-2 because this will be 0-2 in the NFC East to start the season.
Right. For us, we get to start off the season with 2 division games, right?
Right.
So as much as they don't want to be 0-2, we want to go 2-0 in the division starting the season off, right? So if you just think about it like that, hey, we did what we did against New York. They were what they were, whatever. However they get that decided, you can pump them up to be good, and we're just way better than them, or they just weren't that good. This week you got a chance to take a commanding lead or have a big advantage in the division by going 2-0 to start.
And it's definitely a huge game because it's a division game. I mean, if they go, it's better 2-0 in the division. Will always be. I mean, no matter what it is, than being 0-2. But I mean, I was talking to you earlier, Newy. I mean, how the atmosphere up there at Washington. I mean, you said you've been up there a couple of times, and I've been gone for the past 2 years. When I was playing, I mean, it used to be ferocious up there. I mean, it's almost it was par up there with Philadelphia. So I mean, do you think the atmosphere has changed up there, or are they still?
The Cowboy fan will be heard easily. It's one of the places I go where I truly kind of laugh because, I mean, if you're going to Philly, you're very wary about wearing your Cowboy gear because somebody's going to mess with you. Up there, man, it's silver and blue. They're in the parking lot partying with Washington fans in the stands. There's blue everywhere. I mean, if Dak throws a touchdown pass, you hear a whole bunch of cheers. And to me, when I really knew there was a lack of respect for Washington is when I saw John Wall, the highly paid NBA player for the Wizards, roll up in FedEx Field with an Emmett jersey on and a chain, dapping up Dak Prescott and other Cowboys. I'm like, on their pass, okay? They give him the pass. Washington, they give you the pass, and you floss like that, man.
Tell me y'all saw what happened when Scott, the Philadelphia 76ers player, went into Phillies fans with a Washington jersey on.
He had his Washington jersey and started throwing haymakers to little Philly fans who messed with him.
What side of the field was John Wall on? So he came over
on the Washington side,
and then that's DeMarcus Lawrence. Don't come back over here. I don't want to talk to you, man.
I'm on the same.
You on the opposing team. You are the enemy.
Would you say he had a Dez Bryant jersey on?
It was an Emmett Smith. It was an old school Emmett jersey.
Man.
Nah, man.
Yeah,
but
he got to go.
They got to respect themselves a little bit more.
You ain't getting no free tickets.
And to me, that's where I said, man, it fell off. And so last year when the Packers come up to FedEx Field, it's a whole bunch of cheeseheads taking over, and the players were complaining. And then when the Colts were there, and the Colts ended up winning. You heard a bunch of they were loud. They were very loud. I remember the Jesse Holley catch game when Romo.
You talking about in San Francisco? Yeah.
And I remembered that game. How many Cowboy fans showed up? And so it's in the fourth quarter. So with about 5 minutes left, they tell the media you can go down to the field. So it's a close game, and I can't really. I don't. We're walking down because you're not because it's that old candlestick.
Candlestick, yeah.
So you can't see the field as you're trying to work. plays are happening. I'm hearing cheers, but I don't know who is making what play because the crowd is that heavy, full of Cowboy fans. And ended up that the Cowboys had the ball. They had so many Cowboy fans that they were making all that noise. And this was Harbaugh's first year, so they ended up going to the NFC Championship game and they lost. I want to say they lost to the Giants that year. But it was just at that point in time, their fan base was still not unsure who they were. But the Cowboys showed up, man. It was that kind of atmosphere, and that's what Washington is right now. Cowboys start making plays up in there. It's going to be a bigger budget. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it. And
as a player, did that frustrate you?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, because when you're doing good, then you put the letter in the newspaper and all that stuff. Hey man, the fans did a great job. We appreciate you guys making it feel like a home game for real and all this stuff. Get loud, right? And then all of a sudden, like Chicago comes in one year, and I was like,
and beat the brakes off us.
Do I hear more Chicago fans than Dallas? And then now you upset.
Now you upset everybody.
We expect y'all to be on our side no matter what, right? It's not like we lost every game of the year.
Yeah. I go back to this, and this is because early on because AT&T Stadium started in 2009. So those first 4 seasons was a lot of teams' first game there. And because it was such the attraction, because one of my buddies, he's a big Eagle fan, they had those trips circled. Like if you're a Cowboy fan, there's a big Cowboy trip to a certain team destination. So when AT&T Stadium opened up, that was the thing. So it was the Bears. I want to say it was their first time. So Dallas already has a whole bunch of folks from Illinois that live down here, Bears fans. And so it's the Bear game, and people buy up tickets. And look, I'll be straight honest with you. There are Cowboy fans who will sell their tickets, okay?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I used to have Maverick season tickets, and I tell people all day long, man, when the Lakers came, if I could sell that ticket for 3 times the price, there you go.
It is.
Here you go, take it.
Quick, quick and easy.
Yeah, but and that was what was happening. I remember the Niners. It was the first game of the year. The Niners came in here, big old sea of red. But there were a lot of people who, early on when AT&T said, because everybody heard about how big it was and the big TV, you had to go. And the Bears fans came out here, the Niners fans,
Pittsburgh,
the Packers showed up. They straight showed up in here and
that playoff game.
And that was upsetting because we have what we have with the Packers, and it's been like that
I've
since
only
2010.
beat them one time.
Yeah, it's been like that since 2010. So I'm like, come on, man, come on, help us out.
Cheeseheads rolling in that line.
Yes, so it is interesting to see how Washington is going to respond to facing the Cowboys. Kellen Moore's new offense, what they do there, their defense is good.
Yes.
John Allen may not play, but that Washington defense, in case Cowboy fans haven't noticed, they've improved. They're going to be tough. This is not the Giants you're facing.
Oh, yeah, not at all, especially in the secondary. I mean, you got Norman at the corner. I mean, you got Landon Collins back there at safety who can bring the thump. So, I mean, I don't think you'll see guys running up and wide open down the seams. I for sure don't.
Although once we get to the word of the day,
that's
yes, the word of the day. We will get into that. Social media, I'm hearing a lot of Cowboy fans tell me they are not happy that the defense gave up so many yards. They weren't happy with the first drive. Barkley got his 100. So you tell me from a defensive standpoint against the Giants, what did you take away from it?
I feel like I thought Eli got a lot of his passing yards towards the end of the game when it was kind of just like they were in kind of a prevent defense, kind of like just check down and let the guy run a little bit before you tackle him. So I don't see a big problem with the plays they've had. And in the running game, Marinelli runs a one gap defense, where if you're in that front 7 or if you're in that front 8 as a down safety, you're responsible for a gap in that line of scrimmage. So when you're watching film and you see a gap wide open and the running back split the gap and he's down the races, you know exactly what the problem was and you know how to fix it. So I don't see big runs being a problem for the Cowboys in the future. I don't see big plays at all. I think they were top 10 last year as far as allowing up big plays. So I think they'll get that figured out, and I think there's nothing to worry about with this defense.
Yeah, I think it was that game one. Not knowing how much you play in the preseason and tackling and doing all that stuff, and they came out with one of the best running backs in the league, and he did what he does.
Okay, so you tell me, this is just my take. So you guys play to help me in my, because I said to people, give me context. It's easy to look at the box score and start to say, look how many yards. The first drive, Giants came out, punched him in the mouth.
They did,
and they ended up. But then after that, defense locked it up. Now you're up 24 points in the fourth quarter. The they let up off the gas. We saw some offensive players like Zach Martin. We saw them take him off the field. They took Zeke off the field. So they while you played 60 minutes, it wasn't the full 60 minutes. Right. So I just felt like, these are correctable things. They kind of know what will happen. But a lot of what I saw the Giants get, I thought, was when the competitive phase of the football game was over. Am I wrong on that?
Not at all. I mean, from a player's perspective, when you're sitting there and you're up, I think they were up at one point, 17 or something like that? I mean, they were up pretty big at one point. They're starting to take players out. That adrenaline kind of leaves you. You're kind of you start thinking, I mean, I'm just being honest. You start thinking about, man, what's going on after the game? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we going to get ready to do after this game? Because you don't feel like tackling people. That first half, you're starting to feel those bumps and bruises from the first half, and you're up 24, and you're looking there like, man, I mean, what's going on afterward? You start talking about that, and you kind of let off the gas. I mean, that's just being honest, but I don't see any problem. I mean, I feel like there'll be a top defense this year.
Yeah, I feel the same. He played a little bit more defense than I did, so when we got to the second half and he didn't want to feel those bumps and bruises, I was like, Church, man, stay in the game. Stay in the game. Let me run down here on kickoff and do what I do on kickoff return.
Hey, I used to hate that.
But no, I think they got a lead, and then the way that the other team plays the game has to change. So they were able to get a few yards based on the defense that we played, just to kind of make sure that we didn't give up big plays in the lead.
The numbers, when people look at the Giants, 470 yards versus the Cowboys, 494 yards. Total plays, Giants with 66, Dallas with 62. Rushing, Giants with 151, Dallas with 89. But I look at third downs because that's where guys make their living in this league defensively, 2 of 11. When it counted, the Giants weren't able to get anything done. The Cowboys win at 35-17. We've got our word of the day coming up, and Barry Church and Danny McCray will tell you the most interesting teammate they've ever played with. And I thought of that question for him based on the Antonio Brown saga of what we saw happen in Oakland and Hard Knocks. Knock on wood if you're with me. You're listening to the Players Lounge on DallasCowboys.com.
Your new apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not to...
Right above the subway!
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the...
That's my neighbor, Angus.
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's Best Network. Come into an AT&T store and learn how to buy one smartphone and get a second one on us. Based on GWS 1 score, September 2018.
It's time for Tailgate with the OtterBox boys.
OtterBox? The makers of those crazy protective phone cases?
The one and only. They're also wild about protecting parking lot parties from sad drinks. It's why they made elevation tumblers.
Rumor around the crockpot is they're made from stainless steel with a copper lining to keep temps hot or cold.
True. They even come in 7 different sizes, up to 64 ounce, the growler.
I like how OtterBox drinks. Thanks.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Check out all the colors and sizes of their elevation tumblers at otterbox.com.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Back to the Players Lounge.
That's when you got some.
Players Lounge, Newy Scruggs, former Cowboy safety Barry Church, former Cowboy safety Danny McCray. Hey, let me tell you about the Cowboys Hour. It is free and open to the public. Join us at Neighborhood Services at the Omni Frisco Hotel for the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour presented by Albertsons. Cowboys players join host Brad Sham, Kevin Turner, and Taylor Stern on Monday nights at 6 p.m. throughout the season. For more information, visit DallasCowboys.com/Cowboys Hour. So, Players Lounge every Tuesday right here from the Star in Frisco. Because these guys play in the NFL, and one of the things that I found over time is there's a lot of football lingo that unless you're really a football player, you play at the collegiate level or the professional level, you probably don't know some of these terms. And when you hear people say them, you're saying, what is this? What is that? And one of the terms that I wanted you guys to educate folks on today is the seam route. We've heard that a lot. So, as safeties, you guys know the seam route. Danny, Barry, explain it. The word of the day, seam routes.
The word of the day, seam route. I mean, if it was the New York Giants secondary, I'm sure they did not realize what a seam route was. Because, I mean, half of those touchdowns were up the seam against the New York Giants. And for those who do not know, a seam route is when the number 2 receiver, tight end, it could be a slot receiver, whoever's at number 2, runs up the seams, just up the middle of the seam, between the hash and the numbers. He just runs a straight line up that seam. Now, there's variations of it. You can widen it out. We call it stem. That's a word for another day. But he stem the DB out and then go up, up the straight line, whatever. But seams, it's a straight run down the middle of the hash, or behind the middle of the hash and the numbers. It's a seam route. As easy as I can explain it.
Yep. So if you're running 4 verticals, the 2 inside verticals are running up the seam. All right, there's 2 seams on the field. So you just make sure. I don't want to get the Redskins any help, because we might run some people up the seam this week.
But if you're a young safety.
And you're in cover 2 or you're in cover 3,
make sure you watch out for the seams.
Mostly tight ends. If you see like Rob Gronkowski, Zach Ertz, most of the routes that they run, they take it right up the seam, right up the seam.
Because they will attack you
in between the hash and the numbers.
And you will not get a reroute.
The Blake Jarwin touchdown,
right up the seam
route.
Running free. I saw Dak Prescott. It looked like he double clutched.
He was surprised. He was surprised that my man was that wide open. And you could see on tape, Ogletree, the linebacker, bit extremely hard on the run and the play act. And it let Jarwin run right up the seams for the touchdown. And it's like, that's tough though. Reading that play action, it's tough. But he was wide open. There's not even no safety help.
So in the game on Sunday, you just watch for the seam routes.
How much of that works because number 21 is in that backfield?
I'm saying at least 80%, right?
Yeah. If you could, any play action to where you can get the linebacker to step up and create any space between the second and third level of the defense, which is the safety and the linebacker, you can hit the seam, right? So play action is bringing the linebacker forward because he thinks he has to tackle Zeke, and that creates a big gap between him and now the safety who is backpedaling, playing probably the middle of the field or the half, and that leaves that seam open for number 2.
And play action only works if you got a hoss back there in the running back position. Because if it's somebody that you see as just like kind of a scat back, or you're not really nervous about tackling this dude, you're not gonna go after any play action. You're just gonna worry about the pass. And if he runs and breaks through, all right, I got this dude. But there's some guys, Zeke's, the Adrian Petersons of the world, Saquon's, Bettis back in the day. Yeah. You don't want to see those cats in open field. Yeah. So
you don't want them to get their shoulders square.
You don't want that at all. So you want to catch them as close to the line of scrimmage as you can. So, but like you said, if you got a hoss back there, that play action's all day.
That's why you let off the gas in the second half, right there, because
and the bumps and bruises.
Come on, get that.
Bumps and bruises.
Come get some of that playing time. Come get yourself on film here. Oh, yeah. Come get some film here for the rest of the league.
So you be on Gary Vision.
You be on Gary. You gonna be on Gary Vision. Straight up.
We have an update here as we're doing the show, 3:47 right now, doing the Players Lounge right here on DallasCowboys.com. Jordan Chung, running back, has been released. So they have let him go. He made the initial team, the final cut September 1st, and he got signed to the 53-man roster when Ezekiel Elliott come back. So he's gone now. This creates a spot on the 53-man roster. What is it like saying goodbye to friends?
You know what? It's crazy, and I think it's changed a little bit since I've played. We used to have to, right after the last preseason game, which is Thursday, we'd come in on Friday. We all sit on the couch at Valley Ranch, and a guy named Bruce Mays would come just grab you. After he grabs you, you don't see that guy anymore.
The Grim Reaper, man.
The Grim Reaper. So it was, if you didn't have that guy's number ahead of time, or y'all hadn't hung out and you know where he stays, or you run out to him at a bar or something, you probably won't see him again.
Man, one of the craziest. It was one of my real good friends. We first all came in here. Lanye Miller. It was a running back here with my undrafted class, and that was my boy. We hung out all the time, you know what I'm saying? We were roommates for the whole little camp experience and all that stuff. And one of the stories I'll never forget, man, Bruce May, we walking through the building. It was cut day. Bruce Mays was kind of sitting in the corner, kind of like a shadowy figure in the corner. Nobody really wanted to make eye contact with him because it's over after that. And we walking past him. I'm like, man, I had my head down. Please don't see me. Please don't see me. All I heard was, man, we need you to come with us. So I looked over to the right, like, man, he ain't talking to me, is he? And man, there go got my boy Lanya. Grabbed him, took everything. Took about everything.
Give me your iPhone. Yeah, we had notebooks at that time.
Yeah, at that time, give me your notebook, all that. I said, man, I just kind of looked down and kept walking. You know what I mean? That's all you can do.
You don't see him, so the goodbye is short.
It's short.
I used to see Bruce forever today, and I used to ask him, I said, can anyone have a conversation with you who's a player? Or are they just afraid? Just like, I mean, can he, like, if he even comes up and says hi to you, he said, do you like freak people out? He just kind of said, it's just my job. But that was the guy nobody wanted to ever see.
And then the crazy part is, they made, remember Verge? They made Verge, who was the nicest guy in the world. They made him the Grim Reaper. So people were like, man, Verge, get out of here, Verge. We friends. We friends. You want to do me like this? Yeah, you got to go, my man. So it's tough, man. It's tough.
All right, Hard Knocks went to Oakland, which was very interesting. Hard Knocks has been here twice. They never did it when Bill Parcells was head coach, ironically.
He wasn't with that.
I asked Steve Sable. I asked the late Steve Sable. I said, why didn't you come when Parcells was there? He said, we knew not to even ask. So you watch Hard Knocks, and Antonio Brown, clearly a very interesting teammate. So I ask you both, who's the most interesting teammate that you've had when you were with the Cowboys? Danny McCray, you start.
So interesting can go good or bad. So I'm gonna try to keep it neutral because I know the guy. And,
it's the Players Lounge, man.
It's the Players Lounge,
man. They come for the truth, man.
Tell the truth. I played with him for a season in '76. Goodness gracious.
Who was 76?
Greg Hardy was he was one of those guys, right? I got love for Greg Hardy. I think he's doing the sport that he was meant to be doing right now over there in UFC. I think he's doing the correct sport, but he was one of those guys where it was unpredictable. You had no idea what you were getting from him on each day, when he was showing up, if he would show up, anything, everything, what he was going to wear. He came out in like a onesie pajama suit and the biggest pajama shoes I've ever seen. I think they were like dinosaurs with a zip-up onesie. No, this is after he showed up probably like 2 hours late.
My guy was definitely different.
No, he was different, but that's how that works, though, right? He was different before he got to Dallas, and he made a lot of money because his talent spoke for itself.
It's interesting because I got to interview him at the Super Bowl the year Denver got blasted by Seattle. So he came over. He couldn't have been nicer. I mean, he was just a nice guy. It was great. He had great answers. He left there, man. I just really was like, man, this, it's a good dude right here. And then after, about a couple of years later, that's when the whole court case came out, and then everything, you started to see more stuff. But, okay, all right.
Yeah, he's a good teammate on the field. Once you got on the field in the game, besides that slapping the notebook out of Coach Rich.
I was going to say, man, Versace didn't, that was the wrong one. That was the wrong one to go to, man.
I had a coach ask me, hey, would you let him do that to me? I said, look, I was shocked. I've never seen nothing like that in my life.
Never.
I was like, nah, Versace's not the one.
They had to pull him off.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Maybe Dooley. You might have done that on Dooley. But I would have tried that.
He would have kept chewing his tobacco, looking the other way like ain't nothing happened.
Dooley still got to make up for that all or nothing conversation. But that's for another day.
Hey, next week?
Yes, there's next week right here on the Players Lounge.
Control your room.
Yeah, right? You got to control your room.
That was a bad look for him, man.
You let him walk all over you at the beginning. They're going to continue to walk all over you like that.
We saw what happened.
Hey, man.
Yes, it was announced. All of a sudden now, coaching at Missouri. Derek Dooley. Offensive coordinator, Derek Dooley. Come on, man. There's no coincidence. When you saw that, it was one of those. It's kind of theory I just had. Like, man, you scared of these? Especially did. You scared, man. You scared. That was just my theory of just watching him on the field. But then when they put the cameras in, it's like,
yeah, man. The crazy thing about that, I'm watching that, I'm like, all he wants you to do is talk back to him like a man, like he talking to you, and he just wouldn't do it. Like he just gonna keep on doing that to you until you like, yeah, all right, we got you. We gonna take care of it. He was just like, yeah, all right. Yeah. I'm like, oh man, they gonna keep showing this for the next 5 minutes. It was brutal.
It was hilarious.
I like Derek. Dude. He used to coach at LSU, man. Anybody that ever coached at LSU or played there, they're a friend of mine.
Barry, who's the most interesting?
Man, I almost
teammate?
forgot for a second. I mean, I had a lot of teammates in my time, but I'm gonna have to say the most interesting and it might be just the best teammate I've had, just as far as just keeping it real and being honest with everybody, was got to be Orlando Scandrick, man. I mean, he kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But when you got to know him and know the individual, I mean, he was a cool dude, but like you said, you never knew what you were going to get with him. I mean, if he had a 2-interception game, he was the nicest guy to everybody in the locker room. But I mean, if we lost that game and he might not have made a play or two, I mean, everybody's gonna get it. So, but he was the same guy day in and day out, and that's why I had to respect him.
He had this large chip that. Okay, I get when you come into the league, especially because he was a 5th-round pick and Mike Jenkins was a 1st-round pick, and people just assumed Jenkins was going to get the job, but it just stayed there over time, dude. You're a starter now. I mean,
keep the chip. I'm tell you this.
He got 4 contracts off of that thing?
Rookie year, all right. I thought Orlando was trying to get me cut off the team. I was doing my special teams thing, and I was trying to cover him. He was playing gunner, and he shook me and started laughing. And I told Church, I said, man, I think me and him gonna fight.
We gonna jump him.
and then 2 days later, Church was like, you know what? I think I want to fight him too.
We could jump this dude. I don't forget that.
And then maybe 2 weeks later, he came up to me. He was talking to me. He's like, hey man, look, I know I was kind of joking with you, whatever. You like little bro, and I just want you to be the best that you can be, XYZ. And that was 2010, and he's like one of my best friends now. So shout out to O.
Shout out to O, man.
So he
is
didn't
who
get
he is.
He ain't get jumped. It was close to it.
We was trying to make the team. He messing with our money.
And then there was jokes going on. Because I'm a bald brother. So like back in the day, I was young to be bald. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, and then it was the jokes. So it was like, you know what? I don't like this dude. I hate this dude.
So he was picking on him, and then he was trying to get us released. Is what we thought. So we was like, yeah, we can't deal with him.
We ain't messing with him. But over time, I mean, he grew on us. He grew on us. So
yeah, no, he's a good dude.
That's a good dude, man. Shout out to O.
Okay, all right. You like him good.
I knew. What's your take on that? You ain't digging that take, huh?
He was an interesting guy, man. You didn't know what you were gonna say. It was this very large chip. It's like, dude, you mad today? Really? What? It's just you didn't get it. Sometimes you just don't. You're just coming in there. Your microphone. You won. And dude, what you mad about? What? It's interesting. I'll tell you one guy. It just cracked me up once. Cowboys win. Dwayne Harris had a fumble in the game. But the Cowboys won. So I'm just trying to collect some sound here. He says to me, I ain't talking about the fumble.
That's the first thing you started out with.
First, I ain't talking about the fumble. I wasn't going to ask about it, but it did happen. I mean, so now we're just going to ignore. Now, these are the terms and conditions of which you can interview me. I'm like, dude, you're a kick returner. Come on, man. Just stop. Come on.
You fumbled.
Right. I mean, I didn't even want to bring it up, but it was just like, I ain't talking about the fumble. Dude, take the chips down a little bit. That's the thing. It's like, especially after a win. But Orlando just saw. I think Orlando saw things. I guess he thought that people were gunning for him and were trying to take him. I didn't get it.
I think he was testing a lot of people sometimes.
I didn't get it. I mean, I know he's from L.A. I used to live in L.A., so it's like, so I just like, dude, not as hard as you think. I've seen harder brothers from L.A., and you're just like, dude, just take it down a little bit, man. Just calm down. And he still had it. And it just made me shake my head. But hey.
No doubt.
Yeah, good old O. All right, so the word of the day, seam route. Cowboys at Washington, road game. I missed those plane flights, man. I ain't gonna lie. The charter flight, the Cowboy charter flight was good, man. All the goodies you got to eat with the candy and crackers before the plane. Then the plane takes off. Then there's the shrimp cocktail. Then here's the movie. Then it's the steak and filet mignon. Then you land, police escort, get to the hotel. Hotel's walled off. People want autographs. They thought I was a part of the team. That was kind of cool. Not signing anything. No, I can't. I got to get to meetings.
And it's not like that everywhere. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, man. So Yeah, I don't get to fly on the charter anymore.
So that charter experience ruined it for me. Any flight that I took outside of being on the team.
You ain't lying.
I'm like, hey, why seat got to be forward when we take off?
You know what I mean? What is the deal?
I'm eating Popeyes with my seat back when we take off with my headphones on.
I'll be on a regular old American Airlines flight on Saturday, getting up to Washington, but everybody else, I won't be on the charter anymore. We lost our seats on the charter.
I'll be at the watch party. You know,
fellas,
let us know how the atmosphere is.
This was fun. It's just our first episode. We're gonna Barry and Danny are gonna bring in some more of their teammates and guys that they balled with through the years, and people outside of sports as well. So it's the Players Lounge. It's Barry and Danny McCray show. So Barry Church, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Barry Church 42 Instagram.
Danny_McCray 40 on Instagram.
I'm not on Instagram. I'm just.
Well, you could catch me at Danny D-Mac 44 on Twitter.
On Twitter, I'm at Newy Scruggs, NEWYSCRUGGS. So, fellas, this was fun. We will do it again. Thank you so much as we had our maiden voyage. We made it through.
It is.
Made it through our rookie show. Right. Except you got to get you to stop sweating so much.
I'm telling you. I'm sweating crazy.
You're going to get a hat or something.
I'm thinking they're doing it on purpose.
I'm a Bama fan, bro.
Yeah. You know, that's
your boy right.
Fan,
you know what?
Jerry's
got to have a fan sponsor. So the Joneses, I got to have a fan.
I might have to hit up Odell. Hey, hit me up. Hook me up with a watch and a fan.
Give Richard Millie. I love you, baby. Give me one.
Give me one of them.
This has been the Players Lounge right here on DallasCowboys.com.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?